Hi, I'm Alexis Ewing. Great chefs select local ingredients to shine in their cuisine. The best wineries allow the vineyard to speak in their wines. We're here at Robert Craig Vineyard and Winery at the top of Howell Mountain in Napa. Let's go behind the burner and meet the owner. Hi, I'm here with owner and founder of Robert Craig Winery and Vineyards up on the top of Howell Mountain in Napa, Bob Craig. So tell us a little bit how mountain wines are so special and how mountain wines differ from the Napa wines from the valley floor.
Oh, I think there are a couple of things that happen when you move up in elevation. Number one, you have very steep hillsides, so even when it rains, not much water collects in soils, so you have this phenomenal soil drainage.
Okay, great. So drainage. Now these roots probably go pretty deep looking for water, is that right?
Well, they do go deep looking for water, but they run into rocks fairly soon.
Okay.
So that's why we actually have to have irrigation. If you don't have some irrigation, you don't produce as good a grapes.
And mountain wines tend to express terroir, express their sense of place a little bit better than other wines.
Yeah.
Now, why is that?
Well, in the mountains you have a lot of different soil types and you have a lot of different exposures like sunlight exposure and wind exposure. If you're comparing it to the Napa Valley, you know, everything's very uniform in the Napa Valley, but you have tremendous variability up in the mountains.
Right, and I see that these vines are growing quite well right now. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, well this is a fairly unusual growing season at this point. We had a lot of really great late moisture, and then it was cool for a while, so when the vines collect a lot of energy, so when they came out of dormancy, they just really...
Do you normally then crop back the fruit yourself?
Yes, nature does it for you.
Yes, so naturally low yields from mountain wines.
We do it vine by vine.
Okay.
If we see some vines, you know, most of it will be probably just about right. But if we do notice that we have more crop than we want, we will drop some fruit.
Okay, so a trick is to crop back fruit when you want more concentration in your wine. Now, how do you achieve balance when they're so big and bold and tannic?
One thing that small wineries can do that larger wineries can't is we actually taste grapes as a way of determining when to pick. And you could have perfect readings and still not have grapes that are perfectly ripe. So I think one good tip for making sure that you have the full development of the fruit that you want is to taste the grapes and make sure everything's right. Yeah.
Look for small wineries. You have more control over your vineyards and your fruit.
In the valley floor, everything ripens pretty much the same time. Up in the mountains, because of the different sunlight exposure, wind exposure, soil depths, all these variables, you actually have a lot of small vineyards in one.
So mountain wines can be more complex than the valley floor wines. Great.
We really work hard to make sure we have a good balance of tannin and fruit and a good balance of fruit and acidity. When you have all those components in balance, you really see what's individually good about that particular vineyard. You know, we really believe grapes have a sense of place.
Yes,
we make
which is also called terroir. Here's the tip. Terroir means sense of place or expression of the place in a wine. Yeah, we hear that buzzword quite a bit. Give us one more tip for enjoying your wines.
Let's say you go into a restaurant and having the wines that evening.
Sure.
I think it is good, even before you start the meal, when you've selected the wine, have it decanted. Mountain wines have so much structure that they're sort of bound tightly. That's what gives you ageability, so you want that.
Sure, so if you're not going to age your Robert Craig Howell Mountain Cabernet, then we want to either decant it or serve in probably a large bowl-shaped glass.
Have a large bowl shape so you really get all this there. The tasting room is actually at 625 Imperial Way, which is pretty much downtown Napa, right on the river, and only a couple of blocks away from our existing tasting room.
You've been wonderful in educating us a little bit more about mountain wines.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Stay tuned to Behind the Burner, where we give you the tips, tricks, and techniques that are lighting the culinary world on fire.